Hello, guys. In the last week or so, you have seen all the media, newspapers, and TV, and every YouTube channel is full with Deepseek. Deepseek R1 model. Everyone seems to be overnight started talking about this model, which is you know, a company in China who has suddenly come up with such an idea, such a brilliant model which has been brewing for quite some time, but people haven't taken notice of it. That's what I have come after doing some research. And now, this has taken the world of IT world or the AI world by storm, and the stocks of many of the American companies like Nvidia has dropped suddenly, although it is now recovering. But OpenAI and many other companies from the Western world, they are seeking this as a threat, and they are accusing all sorts of commenting about the DeepSeek having stolen the ideas from ChatGPT. They have trained their model on ChatGPT. So what this DeepSeek our own model is all about. So let's have a some overview with some mathematical equations about the essential steps. So let's begin. Now it has got three fundamental steps. The first step being cold start fine tuning. Now, the cold start fine tuning's objective is to establish a foundational reasoning capability in the base model by fine tuning it on a curated data set. Now, what is the base model? Now, the DeepSeek version 3 or V3 base model is fine tuned using thousands of cold start data entries. Now, this process establishes a solid foundation to improve the model's reasoning abilities. So here is a mathematical equation, and this equation represents the goal, the objective, which is to minimize the loss function L. So loss function is now calculated as the sigma of the true value, and the difference of the true value and the predicted value squared, taking over the sum. Okay, so let's understand the objective. Now, the objective is to establish a foundational reasoning capability in the base model by fine-tuning with the curated data set. Now, this base model could be anything. It may be a semi-trained model, or it may be trained with very little parameters, much smaller parameter than the usual 670 billion parameters which this ChatGPT has been trained on, if you have heard it. Now, but they start with the V3 base model. Okay. Now, what is the process? This process is of base model selection begins with the DeepSeek V3 base model, which serves as the foundational architecture. Now, this dataset is prepared like a specialized dataset, which is referred to as a cold start data, which I have already talked about cold start and how it is fine-tuned. It is curated, and this dataset comprises examples that emphasizes structured reasoning process. The chain of thought that comes a jargon which is commonly heard as chain of thoughts, which is thinking logically in a structured manner. Okay, so this reasoning process or chain of thought encapsulates the step-by-step logical progression leading to a conclusion and summary, and there is a summary which the outcome, which is the summary which provides a concise outcome of this reasoning. Now, what is this fine-tuning? The base model undergoes supervised fine-tuning using this dataset or V3 base model. Okay, and the objective is to minimize the loss function defined as this equation, which I have already discussed, where this is y true is the actual value and this is the predicted value. Okay, actual value means the targeted value. Now, by minimizing this loss, the model learns to generate outputs that closely align with the desired reasoning patterns. Now, the model develops an initial capability to perform structured reasoning, and it sets the stage for more advanced training phases. Okay, and the next stage is reasoning oriented reinforcement learning. Now the model utilizes pure reinforcement learning to improve its further reasoning skills. I mean, it is just a sort of, like a child learning to walk for the first time. Now it walks unsupervised after a while when the adult stops holding its hand, and gets up on its own, and then it stumbles, falls down, and it then holds support, and then it keeps on falling down, and then try and retry, and it refines its ability to learn till it walks or learns to walk on its own for a much longer distance more comfortably. Now the objective of this reinforcement learning or reasoning oriented reinforcement learning is to enhance the model's reasoning skills by optimizing its decision making process through reinforcement learning, where there is a policy. This is the policy. Policy is the reinforcement learning. The policy is the model's behavior, which maps a given state to an action. Now there is a reward mechanism also involved. The model receives feedback in the form of reward based on the quality of its reasoning. For instance, if the model arrives at a correct conclusion or follows a logical reasoning path, it receives a positive reward. Otherwise, it may receive a negative reward or no reward at all. And the policy is also optimized. How it is optimized? This is the equation, which is this is the optimal policy or desired policy of at any state S, which is the maximum of this action value function, where S is the any given state and A is action taken in a state. Now the goal of this policy optimization is to adjust the policy to maximize the expected cumulative reward. This is achieved by updating the policy to select actions that yield the highest action value function. Okay, highest action value function by a reward scheme. Okay, and this Q of SA is the expected cumulative reward for taking action A in state S. So by iteratively updating the policy, the model learns to make decisions to enhance its reasoning capabilities, and the outcome is the reasoning process becomes more refined, allowing it to navigate complex logical tasks more effectively. And then the final third step is rejection sampling and supervised fine-tuning. Now the model generates synthetic data through rejection sampling, and then it selects only the high quality examples. Okay, and the objective is to further improve the model's performance by generating high quality synthetic data and fine-tuning the model on this data. And the process is a synthetic data generation. The model generates multiple reasoning paths for a given problem. These generated samples are then evaluated, and only those that meet specific criterion of quality like correctness or coherence are selected, and a process known as rejection sampling is adhered to. And the high quality samples obtained from rejection sampling are added to the training dataset, enriching the dataset with diverse and accurate reasoning examples. And finally comes this supervised fine-tuning. This is the model where it undergoes another round of supervised fine-tuning using this expanded dataset. So we have already expanded the dataset, and the loss function for this phase is similar to the initial fine-tuning phase, which is here, this one. And this process helps the model internalize the high quality reasoning patterns present in the synthetic data, and the outcome is model's reasoning abilities are further enhanced, leading to improved performance across a variety of tasks. And by meticulously following these steps, the Deepseek R1 model achieves a high level of proficiency in reasoning tasks, making it a powerful tool for complex problem solving. So in the next step, we'll discuss about what the future holds for future prospects for Deepseek R1, and is it disruptive enough?